I would like to welcome you all to our weekly Bitverse Q&A session. Today, we are going to be changing gears just a little bit, and we're going to actually be focusing more on Bit Heroes specifically. So I'm here today again with Jorge, our Senior Director of Product, and Lyme, one of our more well-known game designers for Bit Heroes. Just like last week, we will be answering as many players submitted questions as we can fit into an hour, and then we'll post the Q&A up on our YouTube channel with captions so you can see the text version of our answers. For now, we're not going to be doing live questions from the audience as we're still working our way through all of the questions that have been coming through our online form, but please know at some point in the future, we will open the floor up for some live discussion. All right, so before we get started today, I do want to quickly mention a few things that may be of interest to the Bit Heroes community. And then we can go ahead and just move right along into our discussion. So first up is a absolutely shameless plug of our current Nitro Discord giveaway event. For those of you who may not know, we're giving away 3 one-year Discord Nitro subscriptions. And all you have to do to enter is fun, easy things like follow us on Twitter or join us on Discord like you already have. Check out the community events channel on Discord for more information about this. And we're going to be announcing winners on the 17th of May. So there is still plenty of time to enter if you would like to get your hands on that Nitro subscription. We are also going to be pretty significantly increasing the number of giveaways on our official Discord going forward. So we really encourage you to invite your friends to join us here if you're interested in snagging some awesome Bit Heroes rewards on like a regular ongoing basis. These events will happen on, like I mentioned, like kind of on a recurring basis, but also randomly, just to kind of keep you all on your toes, very much like the giveaway that we are doing today. So one lucky audience member today is going to be walking away with an Ultra Gore, and everyone who has attended this Q&A session is eligible to win. I will be DMing the lucky person at the end of the event, and we hope that you will keep joining us for these awesome conversations each week. All right. Okay, so business aside, got that all out of the way. I think it's time that we get this Q&A session going in earnest. To start with, since Lyme is kind of, we had a chance to chat with Jorge last week, but Lyme is joining us newly this week. So Lyme, how would you feel about taking a moment to share a little bit about your history with Bit Heroes? Could you tell us a little bit about your role on the team?
For sure. Hello everyone, I'm Lyme. I have been working on Bit Heroes for over 2 years now. Joined on the 16th of March 2020, very close after tier 11 released, and it was a crazy time. I remember we had to go into quarantine super soon, had like less than a week of office time, but it's probably one of the most amazing moments for me. And yeah, I have been working on Bit Heroes ever since then. I have been a game designer for Click, so that's the studio that we are working on the game. I have been on zones, on World Boss, so everything that's content. I have also done a bit of work on features that are related to game design, such as the milestones and some other, a lot of middleman work, like, essentially. Like, I have also helped with QA. We tend to do done a lot of different hats on any game development team.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You mentioned that you work on features and events, which brings me to a question that we actually received quite a few of, which is basically what new features or events are coming to Bit Heroes that we should be excited about?
There's plenty of that. So I will start with events, actually. We have it feels recently, but it's been quite some time already. But we revamped all of the events. They were getting pretty stale. Log into the game, grab something, and that's pretty much it. Maybe a sale here and there, but there wasn't anything related to the gameplay. So a few months back, we changed that. We made it so you actually get rewarded for playing the game, for actively engaging with the event. So we added the Sardinex shop and all of the different event materials that we have that you can earn through the game and then exchange in that shop for cool prices. And keeping in line with some of the history and tradition of the game, we essentially add like a small snowball the rewards for the event. So especially cosmetics, you get the cosmetics in the shop on sale from the previous year. And so you can, if you already got them and you stick with us, you can essentially skip those that we are giving you and buy other stuff. And so we just came off of like a really big event season. We had the pre-zone event at the beginning of March, and the Easter, and now the Mobileversary, which is still going on for one more week. And after that, we have a bit of a small break, but we'll be keeping and improving on these types of events, and we'll be keeping the same one that you're already accustomed to, like Halloween, like the Congiversary, like Thanksgiving, like holidays, etc., etc. And on the other side, we are working on some pretty cool content that will be sneak peeking you guys really soon, which is a new world boss. We are adding that one to our roster, and we're also working on some features to improve the world boss experience. I know creating a lobby and getting into a lobby can be a pain sometimes, and we're working on stuff to make that more easy and that make that flow more seamlessly with the game.
That was an incredible answer. Thank you. It sounds like we have some really cool stuff coming, down the pipeline. Were there any inspirations you had when you were designing the world boss?
I can't wait for you to see the designs of the world boss. The artist team, like I always think that they will like peak and hit a ceiling at some point, and we all have some favorites. The Steampunk City is, for example, a really favorite of mine. But the new one is amazing as well, and the new world boss looks amazing. It's probably my favorite, like familiars, and the background is really great. And this is really early, but I can't wait for you to see the art of the new zone, the next one. And it's already from the concept is looking amazing. And for the design, for as far as my job, because I can't draw for my life. So we have changed a bit. Like it has been a growing experience, as always, a learning experience, designing the world boss. This one in particular is very oriented to give a better fight to the players. The United Abyss and the Nordic have this tension. I mean, all world bosses have this tension because you fight what you will create, what you will fuse, what you will use in battles later. So there's always tension of like creating a fair fight and an interesting fight for the different types of players that we have, and at the same time making those fusions exciting to get, exciting to farm and to grind. And the world boss always lands a bit in the middle there. It's always complex. Thankfully, we have been adding levers to the game to balance that out, to be able to balance without like breaking immersion with familiars that you fight versus the fusions that then you'll create and you will use. And that will allow us to better fine tune the fight to make it a really cool experience to play, not just like to grind for the familiars because they're strong.
I know that I don't want to speak for everyone, but I'm personally super excited for the new world boss. everything that we're hearing so far, I mean, obviously the addition of new content is always great, but when we're adding features that improve quality of life, I think that's also a really important thing to call out. So I love that answer. Thank you so much, Lyme. Moving on. Oh, Jorge, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'll jump in very quickly there. So there's three things. One is that Lyme is definitely not a good grower from what I've seen. Two is that he's also, in the time that I've been working with him, I can tell you that he is the biggest player advocate that we have in the team. Every single time that we're discussing something, he's bringing, the player interests to the table, particularly the other player interests. And third is that I really think, and I want to thank everyone who keeps posting on the Discord channel, right, on the Game Ideas channel, because we do keep an eye on those. Obviously, we play the game ourselves, and from our own experience, we find pain points and potential quality of life improvements to be made. But like that channel and all the ideas that come through are, look at them. So making the game better is a huge part of what we're doing here. Not only adding new sexy features or new sexy content, but it's also making your experience and your life a little bit easier. Right. That was my interruption. Back to you guys.
Awesome. So, talking about kind of improving the game, I think that's a really great segue to our next question. It's fair to say, I think, that there have been quite a few bugs lately in Bit Heroes. And the community is curious what the team is doing to try to prevent these in the future.
Yeah, it's been rough these past few months. We had two really big ones, but we are tackling this in several ways, in several parallel ways. One of those is that we are making changes and improvement so we can have more bandwidth and testing time to able to track these issues, which can be most of the time on testing is once some of these are really, really, really hard to reproduce. For that, we are adding a lot of new QA members. We have basically tripled the size of the QA team. Other parallel part of to that is that we're keeping with our history of trying to be transparent with the community as much as we can. So we are improving that front by adding the roundtable, which Juniper has worked super hard on, and we are getting them on board. And it's really good because it's really important to have, at least in my experience, to have player eyes. Like we all play the game, we all feel it as Jorge said, but there's a difference from in perspective, and sometimes that's super, super valuable, and that feedback is really important. And we are opening and putting a lot of effort towards that. So, and also one thanks to them. Also, I want to thank the community because this Discord, the reporting channels, you guys are super active, and you all take a lot of time to track down, try to give us a lot of good info. Not always, but but you always aim, especially a lot of our community members are super engaged, and they help us a lot in order to track that. And I know Mati contacts you on a daily basis sometimes.
We're gonna see what we can do about getting Maddie on. I think if we're bringing you on Lyme, I feel like it's only fair that we bring Maddie on too to talk a little bit about stuff. But
yeah, absolutely. I'll just add a slight small detail. We joined on together essentially. We joined both on the same day. So he won't be able to tell you that next time he joins. I'm still in that one.
I love it. That's awesome. Even I didn't know. I just learned something too. That's very cool. Jorge, was there anything that you wanted to kind of chime in on that, or are we good to move on to our next question?
I was just laughing, sorry.
All good. All right, so next question. Will there be a speedrun event for the upcoming zone?
Yes, we'll announce it as usual closer to the release date of the zone, but we are also taking a bit of time to try to
I think it's,
improve that
I also want to
experience.
mention too, while we're talking about speedrun, we had a little bit of the last speedrun awards that we were hosting, there was a pretty big delay in getting those out to players. And I really wanted to just kind of take a moment to apologize again for the speedrun people who, had to wait longer than they should have for their rewards. We got to the bottom of it. It won't be an issue again. We can chalk that one up to just, kind of transitioning team members around internally. So the good news is things have been fixed. There will no longer be a delay with those sort of prizes in the future. And from what Lyme was saying, and from what I understand, we absolutely are planning on hosting more speedruns in the future. Again, it's really important to know that these are tied to zones, right? If whenever that is closer, we will let you guys know with a ton of advance warning. But I don't think there's any desire to stop doing the speed runs on our side.
Yep. And as I was saying, we're also working on making improvements to the speedrun. I know it's you have to go through a lot to get in, and we want to find some ways in order to integrate that experience more into the game in some way that.
Yeah, I think that's also something that we want to make better, right? As Lautaro, sorry, as Lyme was saying, we are trying to add this experience into the game, as well as making some improvements, potentially bring it to our to the Bitverse.io, right? So all the things happen there eventually. The games, the contests, all the info, etc., etc. And then I think as a fun story, I do remember when the first speedrun came to be. We were in the midst of the Unity port, and we didn't really know what to do to keep the community engaged and happy with the game. So this was something that came as the result of a couple of brainstorm sessions with the team and I, and I remember the first cosmetics. They were really awesome to see. I don't know if we could ever do something to bring them back, but they were really, really cool.
As someone who's a little newer myself, what did they look like?
It was like some sort of futuristic, Sonic-like costumes, right? Like I remember the red, the blue. I don't remember what the other one looked like for the third position, but it was. I don't know. They look really good. I'll try to find them out, maybe share them on one of the channels. Probably
I think that would be really cool. I know I'm curious to take a look.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so moving on to talk about a community favorite, guilds. So will guilds be worked on or improved in the future? And this is a little bit of a vague question. Yes, I think it's fair to say we are going to work on or improve guilds, but I think they're asking maybe a little bit more specifically kind of where our head's at in, as it pertains to guilds and, what the future of them look like in Bit Heroes.
The guilds are like, from a design standpoint, they are really interesting. They can be improved, and we're always striving to make all of the systems of the game be better, essentially. So there are two forces in tension in the guilds. For one, they provide a lot of power. Essentially, they give players a lot, but it's a lot of invisible power. Sometimes, especially with like guild improvements and perks and guild bugs, it can feel not as exciting as they probably have an impact on your game. Essentially, like that's a bit of the discrepancy that we really want to work on. But at the same time, we can't. As I think I've said this a lot of times, talking with the community on Discord, but we can just increase like the perk value or add more perks without like second thought, because we don't want to create this rift between a new player who joins the game, plays for a few days, joins like a really small guild of lower tier players or a mid-sized guild, and suddenly they have to compete essentially, or they are like feel like they are missing out on years of accumulated guild bugs essentially on some of our super high-end guilds. So that's the line we have to thread. We do want to make it better. We do want to make it exciting, and we want to make guilds, be an important part of the game because they already are. We want to give more power to that part. Those are some of the considerations that we need to take in account when discussing changes to the guild, to guilds.
I think just to jump in there very quickly, I personally, this is, by the way, not a commitment of any sort, but I've been pitching some ideas to the team in terms of trying to change a little bit the guild versus guild experience, so it's a little bit more interesting, maybe more like a base defense kind of event, and on top of that, it's kind of a big feature, something we'll need to know very well what we're trying to do before we commit to it. We are also thinking about how guilds can also move into the Bitverse, right, in the future. Like, how can we maybe keep the members consistent across games, right, and things like that. So, and not going into anything here, but we do have plans to keep making the feature more interesting, right?
Okay, sorry, my mic cut out there for a second. Again, thank you both. Awesome answer. Guilds are, they're a big thing. So they are definitely something that I think we all want to work on. More information as we get a little closer to it, everyone. Talking about, you mentioned Bitverse, which, kind of segues us a little bit into a question that's kind of like half blockchain NFT focused and kind of half Bit Heroes focused. What monetization options were looked at before deciding to add a blockchain layer to the game?
So, Lyme has heard all sorts of options that we discussed, right? We've talked about, and to be honest, we did not face any of these because we ended up feeling like it would be detrimental for the player experience. But we talk from things such as, hey, what happens if because one of the issues of the game nowadays is that you can befriend someone who's very powerful, right, as a new player, and that kind of makes the whole experience during the first zones a lot easier for players than it originally was, right? So we talked about, okay, what if we limit who you can use in the dungeons, right, and the raids? Obviously, that has a lot of consequences for elder players, so we ended up discarding that, right? We thought about, hey, what if we increase prices? That also didn't really work out well. We thought about playing with drop chances. We all know how that ended up in 2020, right? It was a huge uproar with all, to be honest, with all the reason to the community there to be upset about it. So we thought about all these things, right? And eventually we landed on, hey, there's no way we can do this without trying to milk our players. We don't feel good about it. We prefer to add value to our players, to add more things to do, something exciting, something to be happy, that's added to the game. And And that's how we ended up with blockchain.
And just to quickly clarify for those in the audience who may not know, when we say monetization options, what we're referring to are essentially the mechanisms in the game that allow you to pay real money.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, we monetize games traditionally through two avenues. One is ads, right, and the other one is in-app purchases, right. Obviously, when there's a huge balance in terms of like how these intertwine with existing systems, energy mechanics, drop chances, rewards, all of that, right? So, but anyway, that's what monetization means. It's basically in-app purchases and ads.
I think it's fair to say that we have put a ton of effort, like I think any business would, into making sure that before we do massive new changes to the company or game, that we're exploring options that make sense first. And I've seen players talk about. What if we lowered prices or raised prices? And I just kind of want to reassure everyone that even in the short amount of time that I've been personally with Congregate, I know that these sort of talks have long since been occurring. It's definitely something we didn't just, I think, jump into blockchain without considering all the other potentialities that could work first. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, Jorge.
That's a good overview.
Okay, so I have a fun one for you, Lyme and Jorge, before we start more deeply discussing NFTs. So, is the Bitgore a chicken or a duck?
It's both.
How can it be both?
It's just both. It was created and conceived in that way. It's spawned from the greatest depths of the universe. You can even find some archives around its creation, and connect the dots. But it's there, and it's both. It's both a
So
chicken.
it climbed out of like the primordial ooze as a chicken duck.
Yes.
Okay, I don't buy it, and I think we're going to have to put a poll up after this for the community to let us know if they feel that the Bitgore is a chicken or a duck. I'm just throwing that out there. I think it's a duck. I think it's a duck, but that's just my take.
We actually had a discussion. Yeah, we actually had a discussion about this, right? It's whatever you want it to be.
Primordial ooze it is. It is a chicken duck from the primordial Bit Heroes ooze. And that is I'm learning so much in this Q&A. This is wonderful. Pivoting a little bit to talk about NFTs. These are ones that we feel are kind of, tied into Bit Heroes. So hopefully this is still valuable information for the audience. Would I be able to trade all of the avatar components of an NFT independently?
Okay, so this question is a little bit tricky because I'm not sure if you're referring about the items or if you're referring about the avatar itself. The way it reads to me is more, about some of those cosmetics that are that we're showing on some of the avatar images in the white paper, right? Like they look like cosmetics. They're not. They're this essentially the avatar is, we can say it's just one cosmetic set, right? In itself, and it cannot be decomposed in further NFT, right? It's just like your avatar is an NFT in itself. It's one NFT. It's how it looks. Now, that obviously has a lot of considerations that from a game development standpoint we're talking about now, and we're figuring out, which are like, okay, how does gear actually interact with your avatar, right? Like, and we're having interesting conversations around that now, like, and we're learning more in the sense of we will allow players to basically decide what they want to show in the avatar or not. Like, do you want to show the helmet, or do you want to show the horns and the halo and the hat, and like that type of option will be available to avatar owners. But again, the avatar in itself it's one NFT with everything that comes with it, right? And to give you a small sneak peek into the different rarities of the avatars, like we're gonna have exactly as in Heroes Quest, we're gonna have avatars, rare, epic, legendary, and mythics, right? And basically, depending on the rarity, the more different attributes your avatar is going to hold, right? So, for example, a common, maybe it's only the eye color, the hair type, and the hair color, and the skin tone, right? Like, could be only those 4 variables, and then the rare is going to have more variables attached to it, and then the epic is going to have more, and so on and so forth. So the rarest of the avatars will have the coolest look potential.
That sounds awesome. Speaking of kind of like the art style of the avatars, somebody submitted a really great question mentioning that Bit Avatar cosmetics are not in the same art style as existing assets in the Quest version of Bit Heroes. Is this indicating a shift in art direction, or will NFT heroes visually look different as one of the incentives of purchase?
So this question surprised us a little bit, but we talked it through a little bit, and I think the style of the game has been ever changing to a degree, right? Like when you look at some of the first familiars like Tubo, right, and some of the latest that have been added in the new zone, like there's a huge difference in the art style and the art quality as well, right? And we've touched a lot of different themes within the game, right? Like Lyme was talking about steampunk city, and we started with fantasy. We have Kaleido, like we have so many visual styles within the same game, right? And the game, the Bitverse, like and Heroes Quest, will keep moving into different directions, trying different things. We are not intentionally doing anything here in the sense of like, oh, we are trying to change the art style of the game. It's more like we're trying to make something different, right? Because we want the avatars to be unique and exclusive in a way, and not like anything else that you can find in the games. That's why they may look a bit different to you, but in terms of art style, the game's going to keep moving in the same direction that it has always done.
Do you think at some point in the future, besides the playable NFTs that we're considering, that we may also consider doing NFTs that are more traditionally what people would consider like art? Any plans for something like that, maybe?
Oh, yeah, I will announce something here. We intend to give you as part of your avatar NFT, we intend to give you a piece of art of the avatar itself, right? That you can use in Discord or in other places at your will. And yeah, we're open to art. We're open to music. We want to explore more avenues if it actually makes sense for the community, right? If there's actually some interest in that. And this is where you as a community can also kind of raise your voice, right? And tell us like, do we want to do this, or it's of no interest? But definitely something we are open to explore.
That is a great point. We do have the crypto NFT blockchain chat in Discord. And we definitely encourage you guys to drop your thoughts in there. If you think, there is a world where having, Bit Heroes art is something that we really want to do through NFTs, please let us know. If it's something that you guys think is an absolutely terrible idea, please let us know. We very much want to make sure that we're making the game kind of in line with what our players are looking for. So, like Jorge said, please just keep on sharing your feedback with us. It is greatly appreciated. Now, moving along to our next question, because I don't want to run out of time this week. In the white paper, you mentioned a TCG. For those who don't know, that is a trading card game. Would this be similar to Hearthstone?
That's an interesting question. It will be a TCG. Hearthstone is a TCG, so in a way, it will be similar. We're currently exploring the tech. We're looking at different options for prototypes, and even within Congregate, we have existing TCG engines, right, and games. Some of those are getting also iterations. So we're looking at everything that we're doing internally as well as what is being done externally to try to come up with something that is fun and that also kind of stays true to the Beat Hero spirit that we mentioned. Right? So going back to the question, like, would it be similar to Hearthstone? If you think about deck building, if you think about turn-based game with cards and potentially a mana or energy system, like sure, in that regard, it'll be similar to Hearthstone, but those are kind of the components of any TCG, right? Or most TCGs.
Most TCGs.
Yeah. I'm sure there's one game out there that somebody will be like, oh, this game's not like that.
And wait for the Clover card that literally duplicates your RNG in the game. Gives you perfect hand draws every time.
Obviously, we'll have some sort of ultra core version of a card, right? Or something like that. Anyway.
Can we just are we gonna have like can we do if we're doing TCGs and we're like cards, are we gonna do like Lyme? Can he be a card? Can we do the dev teams as cards? Players can own.
I've been trying to get us as familiars for a while, but we'll see.
Awesome. So we're talking about Blizzard. We may as well keep that going. With the announcement of Warcraft Arclight Rumble, are there any plans to have a Clash Royale game in the Bitverse?
Company that should not be named. So we're obviously Clash Royale. It's a huge success. There's a lot of tower defense games out there. Arclight is supposed to be a tower offense type of game. We're keep our eyes open to that. It's in the table. It's something we might want to explore. Obviously, there's some considerations that need to be had there, like how would a pixel-based game look in a genre like this? We need to explore it. Again, it's on the table, and this kind of circles down to some of the components of the TCG, right? In terms of deck building, energy system, etc., etc. I think again this is one of those areas where we will probably open it up a little bit to the community in terms of like the type of games that they would like to see after the TCG and Game 5 are more tangible, right? We have Game 6 and 7 open, and maybe Game 5 could be one of these. We'll see, but we'll open it up. So please stay tuned and give us your feedback.
I feel like that's an important call out, mentioning 5 games, right? The future of Bit Heroes is bright. We absolutely plan on, as we've mentioned, I think Jorge talked about this a lot last week, about continuing to invest in Bit Heroes and the IP. So, having 5 games coming down the pipeline at some point is very exciting. Okay, so
yes.
With the introduction of NFTs, how will the player base and its interests, so this is kind of referring to, let's say, the existing player base, be prioritized moving forward?
Okay, I feel like this one is a little bit similar to the one we got last week. Again, we put together an internal team to work on Bitverse features, right? And the avatars and all that and blockchain, which means that each individual game has its own game team that is developing their games in accordance to their community and their existing players, right? So what that means is the interests of the player base are prioritized as always. I would say even more now. I feel like one of the interesting kind of byproducts of us having these conversations with you guys and being a lot more active on Discord, etc., is that we are hearing you a lot more and we want to hear from you a lot more, right? And that means that your priorities are considered a lot more. I'm sorry, I'm not an English native speaker and I'm using the same expression over and over again.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely, we're building this around the players. We want this to be a player-centric experience and we want each game to be a standalone game in a way. So you're at the center of it.
Right. And I want to mention too, we're constantly coming up with new efforts and initiatives to advocate for player interests internally. We have, again, our Game Ideas channel on Discord. And we want you guys to know that we read through it every day. Not just me, the devs, Jorge, we are constantly keeping in touch with how you're feeling, your feedback, your thoughts. So again, thank you for being so communicative and for being a part of this amazing community. And we just, hope that we'll be able to keep it going in the future. Okay, so we're gonna switch gears now, and we're actually gonna move to some questions about Bit Heroes community programs. So this is going to be ever so slightly strange, only because I am going to be asking the question and also answering these ones. So bear with me.
You want me to ask you the question?
Yes, that would feel better.
Yeah, let's reverse roles here, Xan. Okay, Xan, so are there any plans to open a beta tester program for Bit Heroes Arena?
Yes. So we know the community is extremely excited about Bit Heroes Arena, and we would like to keep them as involved as possible as we are continuing to develop the title. Our current plan is to work with our beta tester group. That was actually signups for that just happened a few days ago. We put those up. Those people, when they sign up and are selected, are going to end up with a special badge in our Discord and access to exclusive channels that, will, for the purposes of getting them access to I don't want to lock this in, but, potentially the latest builds of Bit Heroes Arena and other titles, being a sounding board for the developers there. Until our worldwide release. So just like the roundtable, this program is going to grow and change as needed to best support Bit Heroes Arena and ensure we're kind of aligned with player interests throughout development. So yes.
I know we've been on a meeting about this today, by the way. So this is coming up. So Juniper, any plans to collaborate with your fellow content creators?
Again, absolutely, yes. So part of launching the Bitverse is getting a really good understanding of who our amazing content creators are just in the space. And part of having this passionate community is being surrounded by people who make really great content, and we want to do everything we can to support this really important segment of our community. Over the next few weeks, everyone should expect a more formal community program that will spotlight content creators that we love and will kind of open the doors to more involved collaborative projects in the future For now, if you are a content creator, we encourage you to share your content or your channels with us so we can spotlight you on our official social media. You can do this by reaching out to me through Discord or through any of the team members on our social media channels. Once the program is kicked off more formally, we'll have a much easier way for you to submit your content in your channels for submission to be part of this program. But we absolutely want to work with the community on making sure that we are just helping spotlight those amazing creators.
I'm going to get a little bit off script here, but I would love if we could also feature something, and this goes to Lyme. I'd love if we could feature some of those content creators in the newsfeed in Videos Quest. That would be amazing.
Yep, that's actually a really good idea.
There you go. So likely perk of our upcoming program may be the ability to have yourself featured in game in Bit Heroes.
Very confirmed. Great.
I love that.
Cool. Okay, and I think this is our final question, Jennifer. Let me know if I'm wrong. But how can I become a member of the roundtable?
Okay, so for those who may not know, the Roundtable is our new Bit Heroes community program designed to support the development of the game and help the product remain aligned with player interests. Currently, the Roundtable is invite only, which means Congregate is sending out invites based on a certain set of criteria that players need to meet. If you're interested in snagging an invitation, though, please know that we have currently only sent out invites to a really select group of community influencers. That group was our a handful of moderators, our former elders, and our former council members. Sorry about that. So just know that, if you haven't got an invite yet, that is okay. That opportunity is still going to be coming in the future. Invites are still being sent out. And again, the idea is to grow the program with the needs of the Bitverse. So in a few months, maybe even sooner, please expect to see signups open, which is your chance to throw your hat in the ring for a seat at the roundtable. In the meantime, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to chime in and say that what you just heard is all a lie. You have to go to Trade Island and duel every dev team member. And if you win, you may get a seat on the round table. Else you're disqualified immediately.
You guys can trust, though, that this current group of knights and champions, that is how our program is broken up. We have our knights who are tend to be a little bit more community focused. They are our influencers and our community leaders. They may be guild leaders or other important members of the community who support in that way. And then we have our champions who are a little bit more tech focused, who help us with some QA aspects of the game. So when I reference knights and champions, it just means the two different roles that they have within the program. But just this week, these members were super instrumental in assisting us with testing out a bug fix for the freezing issue that we had been experiencing. So we are incredibly excited for what the future holds for the program. So, if you need more info, again, join our Discord. We have take a look through our community guides. There's some information in there. And just keep your eyes open, and soon we will announce signups more widely for the community.
Thank you, Jennifer. I think that's all we had for today.
You think that? Curveball. So I told you guys, I warned you I might do this. We have a little bit of time left. So I am going to give you guys some fun questions, some fun, totally off script questions. To start with, let me see. to start with, if you could be any piece of fruit, what would you be? Lime.
It's clearly a tomato, hands down. The best fruit. You can
Okay,
make
so
sauce
you
with
have
it.
to
You can make really
give us
salty,
why.
amazing salty fruit. Like you can make sauce that's using pasta, using pizza. It's really the most versatile fruit in the brain, and you can make really good tomato jams that are super sweet and amazing. So yeah, hands down, best fruit, like me.
Okay.
What about you, Jorge?
For me, I would say, probably a lot of people learn today that tomatoes are fruits, not vegetables. But anyway, I think for me, it's probably watermelon for two reasons. One is, sorry, it's watermelon. I'm going to change to Spanish for a sec. Watermelon es sandía, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Okay, sorry, I have to do a quick check. Yeah, not my first language. So it will be watermelon for two reasons. One, it's part of my favorite summer cosmetic set in videos, which is amazing. I'm gonna say one that I use every single deck that we ever make internally, every single presentation. Like I always show up that summer set I think it's from 2020 as well. And it's also because, yeah, it's my favorite fruit for the summer. Whenever I'm feeling the heat, right? It just has a lot of water. It's fresh and tasty. So
Like
sorry
that
for the
one.
tomato. And as a Spaniard, we
the
actually
tomato answer was not okay, Lime. I almost want to DQ that answer, but technically it's a fruit. Technically.
Yes, it is.
I think I'd be a mango. I don't even have a good reason for it. I just love mangoes. Anyway, so all right, fun question number 2. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
So this is a nerdy. Go ahead, Lynn.
Does it have any conditions? It's be any superpower but something, or it's just any superpower?
Let's just say any superpower, and implied powers come with it. So if you want to be super strong, you're also super durable too.
I feel like if I were to be honest, in my now boring adult life, I will need to pick cloning, like the ability to make clones of myself. Will multitask so much better, or teleport, just skip on a lot of things. That will be in reality. I love to fly. Reality will be that I will procrastinate really hard on flying training, so I will be a terrible flyer and I will never do it. Just oh no, I could fly to a store, but it's Friday. I don't wanna, and it will lose its charm. I'm 100% sure of it. But cloning myself, if I can keep the clone's memories, then it's incredibly insane. You could multitask everything, learn every skill, and become basically superhuman on everything that you can learn.
Are the clones self-aware?
I mean, yes, but they all know which one is the real me, which is me, of course.
Okay, so this is why you're like Doc Manhattan from Watchmen.
Oh, yeah, at that point, we're going way off the rails. But yeah, I mean, that's omnipotence.
What about you, Jorge?
It goes in a similar way as Lime's. For me, it would be slowing down time. I think that's the official one, because kind of the same thing. I could get, I could get to do everything I want. Wouldn't have to be rushing from place to place. Could think things through properly, learn whatever. Although I would say that when I joined Congregate and I got asked this question, I think my answer was to basically run or data queries faster because our system is, well, speedy is not as speedy as I would like. And sometimes you have to wait for several minutes. So like if I could just make this run like in seconds, that would make my life so much better. It's all related to time at the end of the day. And it's valuable.
I think I would, my answer to this one has never really changed. I've always wanted the ability to like not read people's minds, like Professor Xavier from X-Men sort of powers. I want to be able to read people's minds. I feel like that's like the ultimate power you can have. And it would help me see it would help me CM better too.
But how does that work in the work from home setup?
Oh shoot. I would need to be able to read minds through Zoom.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I need the ability to read minds long distance.
Through a profile picture.
I need Cerebro. That's why he invented that thing. Anyway, I'm getting too into nerdy like off-topic stuff here. Okay, so we only have a few minutes left, so I actually think this is a really good place to wrap things up. It has been so great to have both of you on. I want to thank both of you, Lyme and Jorge, for just taking the time out of your busy days to sit with us. And a super sincere thank you goes out to all of you in the audience as well for hanging out and talking with us about Bit Heroes and fruit and superheroes. We will see you next week. As a reminder, the Q&A form remains open for questions. Please feel free to keep submitting them to us, and we will keep answering them for you. I hope you all have an absolutely amazing weekend, and we will see you soon. Thanks, everyone.